What's going on, everyone? So last year we saw the Boston Celtics finally get over the hump, and they were the best team all season long. I mean, it wasn't really a surprise or unexpected that Boston was going to win the NBA championship. Now, personally, I needed to see them actually get over the hump, right? Because, I mean, every year, the last 5 years, they've been the best team in the East. Every year, it's their year. They're in the conference finals or even the NBA finals and just find a way to blow it. Just find a way to drop the ball and not be able to get over the hump. But now that they've actually gotten over the hump, now that they've actually kind of put the controversies and all the noise in the rearview mirror, and we're able to hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy, there is a really big likelihood that they end up repeating, right? We're moving an inch and closer to the upcoming season. And Boston still, in my opinion, has the best starting five in the NBA, right? Still have questions about their depth, but look, Boston, if they're hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy again next year, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised. I don't think anyone will be shocked. Boston is a very formidable opponent. But the question is, can anyone really get in their way? Can anybody actually beat them, particularly in the Eastern Conference? I do think there are a couple teams in the West. Denver, I know that they got worse with KCP, but they're still, good luck. They're still tough, right? They can get there. OKC, I like what they did this offseason, right? There's a couple teams, a handful of teams that I think match up well. But particularly, I want to kind of stick with the Eastern Conference. And there's really only two teams. One right now, I would not really take over them, but I think have the best shot, and that's the New York Knicks. I thought the Knicks were the second best team in the East last season after they acquired OG, and then all the injuries and everything kind of decimated them. I really wanted to see, because my problem with Boston last season, and I talked about this throughout the playoffs, was Boston was never challenged, right? A big reason why Boston crumbled in the previous years is because they got challenged. Right? They ran into Miami. And Miami challenged them, and they just folded like a house of cards, right? They got into the NBA Finals, and they should have won the NBA Finals. But then the Warriors just kept doing what they're doing. All of a sudden, Warriors creep back, and now there's the panic sets in. Just completely sets in, and that becomes an issue. That becomes a problem, right? And I wanted to see, what could a team do to kind of contest and challenge the Boston Celtics and see, can they hold their own? And the only team that I think can really do that is the New York Knicks. I think right now, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. If the Knicks can stay healthy, then I think that they match up very well against Boston. They also could just end up trading Julius Randle and maybe go get another piece or something, or, add some depth. Plus, you also have Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo off the bench and whatnot. So I do think it is very interesting what that matchup could potentially be, particularly in a 7-game series. I also like New York's toughness more. I also like New York kind of push come to shove. Things are tight. Knicks kind of overcoming that challenge and obstacle as opposed to the Boston Celtics, right? Again, I don't like the Celtics' mental toughness, right? You even saw in the Olympics with Jayson Tatum and Jalen Brown crying about everything. And I get that they feel like they're not being respected, but use that as motivation, right? Show, hey, we just won a championship. Let's go win another one, right? And again, they weren't really challenged throughout last year's playoffs. They basically just walked into a championship, which, again, you credit Boston. They had the talent, they had the team, and they still showed up and delivered, right? They dropped a couple games that they shouldn't have lost, but that happens, right? For the most part, they weren't challenged. I think the Knicks are the best team to potentially challenge Boston next season. And I just think, Game 7, things are tight, right? Both sides are healthy, because that's the biggest obstacle you could argue with Boston is just their health, right? Can they stay healthy, right? Can they run it back and remain? I mean, they didn't even have, Kristaps Porzingis for most of the playoffs. But with the Knicks, it's like if they can stay healthy and they can stay on the basketball court, tight game, all things are kind of equal, right? Whether it's in Boston or in New York, I don't care. I just think, 2 minutes left, tie game. I just trust the Knicks to execute and get it done better. I just trust the Knicks to kind of stick to the game plan more. And look, maybe that's me kind of undervaluing the Celtics a little bit. Maybe, but, time and time again, we've seen them just collapse when they needed to come out on top. And it's hard to know if the Celtics have really changed. Because we didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see a team push them game 6. Man, if they win, they're forcing a game 7. And no, Boston just kind of cruised. But the other team besides the Knicks are the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the reason I'm not willing to put them there yet is I need to see how do they look, how do they play, how does Paul George fit? Because in theory, in concept, it's like, okay, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Paul George. Plus, I really do like their kind of pieces and roster and stuff like that. I do think that they have a really quality just roster. Then, I do think that if all components and all pieces really work and fit properly, that all of a sudden you'll see them potentially even in the NBA Finals, right? But Joel Embiid has a history of just completely disappearing. Also, can he stay healthy? Paul George has a history of completely disappearing in the playoffs. Also, can Paul George stay healthy? Tyrese Maxey, is he going to be the third option? Is he going to be the second option? Right? There's a lot that needs to kind of be unpacked and unfolded for me to go, okay, the Sixers are the team that I believe in and think can get the job done. Right? I don't know how much I fully buy the Sixers as a real contender. I think that they have the talent. I think that they have the roster. I think that they have, the star power, right? I mean, as far as your top 3 guys, I think that there's a genuine argument that Philly has the best 3 as far as fit and pieces, right? I know you could look at a team like Phoenix. I just don't think Phoenix works well, but can they put it all together, and can their stars actually show up when needed? Can their stars actually be the guys that they need, right? I don't know. It's that's why I'm not really quite there yet on them being legit able to beat Boston. Obviously, could they? Sure. Right? I mean, Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey show up and play their best version of basketball. Good luck beating them. But can they do that in their first year, just brought together, kind of piecing things together? There's just some hurdles and obstacles that they're going to have to get over, right? And if they can do that, then yeah, watch out for the Sixers. But again, I mean, Boston, they can stay healthy. They're probably going to be the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're probably more likely than not going to win it back to back again. I do, again, think that there are some Western Conference teams that could at least push them or make things difficult. No, matchups are a big thing. Matchups are very important. But, it's the Celtics might just be too talented, right? Nobody in the NBA, in my opinion, got that significantly better. Right? I think the Knicks got better, right? Adding Mikal Bridges, definitely. And they're going to get a full season under OG and stuff. Like I said, the Thunder earlier, I think that they got better. Right? There's teams that you can kind of go down. The Sixers, I think, got better, right? There's definitely teams that I think got better. But I don't think anyone got so much better that if Boston's healthy and playing their brand of basketball, are going to be able to beat them. I think there are teams that match up well. I think there are teams that have a shot. I think there are teams that have a chance. Like I said, the Knicks, I think match up very well, right? I think that they have the firepower and the defense and the size and the versatility and the things needed to match up against Boston. But Jayson Tatum, I think, is a big factor this year, right? Tatum's been terrible shooting the basketball. I mean, terrible. Like, it's almost like he forgot how to shoot. Between the playoffs and then and the Olympics, it's just I don't think I've ever seen a player of his stature without changing their shot entirely have this level of just fall off shooting the basketball. It's crazy how much he's fallen off shooting the basketball. So if Tatum could just end up sabotaging the Celtics next year if he can't figure out how to shoot. But I do expect Tatum to kind of come around and figure it out at some point. And, is there a conflict? Is there this type of struggle, right? Like, do Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, are they able to get out of their own way? Right? Jaylen Brown's upset that he was, spurned by the Team USA. Jayson Tatum didn't even really play, right? Like, these guys are in their feelings and emotions. And are they going to be able to kind of put that aside and use that as motivation? Or are they going to kind of let that get in the way? Are they going to kind of let that dictate things? Does Jaylen Brown now all of a sudden want out because he wants his own team and, he feels like he's not getting the respect he needs because he's, the second best player on Boston and all? Like, a lot can happen and a lot can happen fast. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have faith in Boston? Do you think Boston goes back-to-back and wins it again? Do you think, like Boston's cooked? They got their chip. Enjoy it. That's good. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.